So let's have some lovely Hammers headlines. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Russell and West Ham Network. Hope you are safe and well. If not, still pissed off from yesterday. Let's be honest. Lunchtime, we didn't do ratings, because they didn't deserve ratings, but sort of almost like a therapy session. It was at lunchtime, to be honest. Getting everyone get off their chest, in terms of the manner of defeat, and case of dusting ourselves off and going again, unfortunately. With so many games coming up. We haven't got time to sort of, post-mortem every game, unfortunately. So, we do what we can and we move on. And obviously we've got Freiburg on Thursday, which is a critical game. Now we've put extra pressure on ourselves, and we'll talk about that in a minute. In terms of David Moyes, there's the pressure on him now, even more so. Freiburg, obviously, we lost 5-0. Freiburg played on Saturday and won 1-0 away to Wolfsburg. They're going for a bit of indifferent form at the moment, in all honesty. They've won the last 2, but they didn't win the 3 before then, and they're currently 8th in the Bundesliga. 6 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses, and a -6 goal difference. So they're currently on 21 points. So pretty much on par with where we are at the moment, in all honesty. So it's very much like this, but obviously it's critical to get a result out of that game. And I think the worst thing is that West Ham don't need to lose. If West Ham needed to win, I think I'd be more confident, if that makes sense, because we'd have to go out and play. We don't, a draw is enough for us to progress top of the group. Obviously, we've qualified already, but with the playoffs, we don't want to be in the playoffs. We want to be in the last 16, because then we can put Europe to bed until March and concentrate on the league and concentrate on getting some form, concentrate on getting some wins, and concentrate on getting some momentum going into, a very busy period of the season for us, as it always is. Now, Hammers Headlines in association with the KMB.com, boys. 3 stories. One about Moyes, one about transfers, and one about the kids. Seems good to me. Let's start with talking about Moyes, shall we? Let's talk about Moyes. Now, obviously, yesterday's game really did put some. It was absolutely dreadful, wasn't it? And just shows, unfortunately, the consistency that West Ham have always had, but even more so in recent times. They're a really good performance and a really poor performance the day after. Now, there have been reports, according to Clarence Hugh, who talked to their senior source, and were basically told that the next 2 games were very important. Very important. So, and that has been led to speculation that Moyes could have just 2 games left to save his job at West Ham. Obviously, the embarrassing result against Fulham, the nature of it has put questions over the job. And, I think his future was always, the last few weeks we've won, or we've had, I think this is our first defeat in 7 or something like that. So there was, that side had been dialed down a bit, but it's ramped up very much for sure. And his future is now the number 1 topic amongst West Ham fans, it seems. But according to Sean Weston, he said that club source to Clarence Hugh about David Moyes after today's 5-0. Let's put it this way: we consider the next 2 games very, very important. Sorry, I only said one. Very, very, very important. That implies that if results don't go our way against Freiburg and Wolves in terms of favourable results, Moyes could be out by the time Liverpool plays. And obviously, we play Liverpool on the 20th in the EFL quarterfinals in Anfield. Interesting. I mean, again, it's all about timing, isn't it? I think defeat against Freiburg and then Wolves is, well, first it'd be three losses on the spin. Plus, we'd be dropping into the playoffs, which means the likelihood is we will be playing a Champions League side, but it could be a very, very good Champions League side. And it might, and well, it shows you. For me, it shows you how tenuous Moyes' um, employment with the club is. It was, the manner of the defeat, the 5-0. If we were playing, I mean, you look back last, we spoke about this at lunchtime, but you look back at Brighton away, Newcastle at home last year. They were really, really bad defeats, but we were already going into the game very poorly. And we'd come off the back of a Tottenham game, so it seems even winning, beating at White Hart Lane. So it seems even more out of the blue, if that makes sense. Now, according to David Ornstein, he very much has said that the club have downplayed the whole virus thing. Obviously, we had Alvarez pulled out. He turned up to Craven Cottage, but went home with this virus. Emerson was on the bench, but he had the virus, and apparently Pablo Fornals had the virus as worse as anyone, and he started, which again really confuses me why he was even on the pitch. In all honesty, why we've got enough players there, the likes of Maxwell Cornet, the likes of, I mean, we could even put Tilo Kieran, in defensive midfield, or I don't know, call up someone else. That really surprised me. And apparently Moyes had it really bad as well, which was why he didn't stand up on the touchline quite a lot, if any at all. But anyway, regardless of that, we lost 5-0. It was absolutely appalling. And apparently Moyes has got two jobs left, 2 games left to save his job. So we'll see. Regardless of that, Fabrizio Romano was quoted yesterday saying that West Ham are going to be very busy in the January transfer window. He said that the board are already planning behind and working in the background to bring some much needed reinforcements into the squad for January. I think the question would be money and how much they cost, and whether we utilize the loan deals, or whether we look for these pearls. Tim Steidten looks for pearls, but according to Fabrizio Romano, who is as good place as anyone, he reckons that West Ham are going to have a very busy January. I think there'll be a lot of ins and a lot of outs. Not Danny Ings, or maybe Danny Ings out. You never know. But the likes of Tilo Kira, I think Said Ben Rama, I think Fornals may still move on. Maybe even a Kurt Zuma or an Aged potentially to the Saudi Pro League. I think that's going to be our main focus in terms of getting as much money out of that league as possible. But as I said, they are they're already working hard to strengthen the squad ahead of the January transfer window. He was quoted as saying, "I expect West Ham to be busy as they're looking opportunities around there, though it's too early to say any specific names, but nothing is advanced, but the owners and directors are working hard on it." There we go. There we go. And let's finish on some good news. Let's finish on some positive news. Let's talk about the academy. There's some great cup progress for the academy at the moment, both the under-18s and the under-21s. The under-21s are through to the quarterfinals of the Bristol Motors. I always get it wrong. Bristol Street Motors Trophy. The last 16, they played Wycombe Wanderers. A certain Freddie Potts is on loan to Wycombe Wanderers. I believe the club have refused their permission. They've requested permission for Freddie to play for Wigan against West Ham, and that's been refused, unsurprisingly. And that's going to be taking place, I believe, the week commencing the 8th of January, and they'll be at Wycombe. They've already recorded wins against Bristol City, Newport County, and Cheltenham Town on their way to the last 16. There's a lovely vibe in the academy. I can attest to that. That's the right word, isn't it? I can attest to that. A really nice vibe, not only amongst sort of the guys who follow the academy, but the academy themselves. If anyone's followed my Twitter recently, I've been asked to become the under-21 match day announcer from Kenny, which was I'm very obviously happy to say yes, of course. And I was at the under-18s, and we're going to talk at the under-18s FA Cup Youth round against Southampton on Friday, which we were spinning some tunes and doing some announcements and stuff like that. And the vibe amongst the kids, all the under 21s were there watching the game. we had Ollie Scars played. You had Lewis Orford. You had some really good players. Garibaldis, the right back for the under-18s, was exceptional. He's a real good right back. And we've got them and Dan Chester, so we've got some good right backs, coming through from the academy. And they battled that game. The under-18s battled. It was a freezing evening on Friday. They played 120 minutes. Extra time. They played probably about another 15 minutes on top in terms of injury time. Everyone went down with cramp. Literally, everyone was hobbling at the end. And to be honest, Southampton were the better side, particularly the first half. And I think we were lucky not to go in worse than 1-0. Favour Moyes scored an absolute cracking goal when he came on, instant impact, and they battled their way through. So it's not about being the most flamboyant side, but they battled and they really showed a lot of West Ham grit. Maybe the first team could have showed a bit more grit yesterday, but they really showed what it was to wear the badge and won on penalties. With I think Liam Jones, Steve Jones's boy, he scored the winning, or he scored the deciding penalty, and then they missed their penalty as well, Southampton. So that's great news for the under-18s. And there was, and I'll talk about the youth team another day, because I think there's one of the things that people criticise about Moyes is about his lack of interest in the youth, and that's so away from the point. That's so far from the point. From first-hand experience, I know that's the case. They then play the next round. It will be against either Man City or Watford in the under-18s. Next round, that'll be at home at Rush Green. So I'll be spinning the tune. So make sure you get down there. It's a great night. And good to cheer on the kids. That will be, I believe, they're playing next Tuesday. In terms of Watford, I think they're playing Vicarage Road, Watford v Man City, and the winners will play West Ham at Rush Green. So keep an eye on that. And that's it, my friends. So thank you very, very much for your time as always. Don't forget to check out the theseareMyBrand.com, boys. Have your say in the forums. Talk about David Moyes. Talk about all the other great stuff we can talk about. And until next time, stay lucky, stay healthy, stay humble. Keep an eye on the channel. We've got some really good interviews coming out. Don't forget also the West Ham Network Advent Calendar, day 11 today. Matty Holmes, go and comment. It's free. You don't have to be a Patreon. There's no discount code. There's no membership. It doesn't cost you a thing. And you could, let's see, what could you win? You could win something like, a Tony Cottee signed notebook, or I don't know, Dean Ashton signed print or whatever. There's loads of stuff we could win, and it's completely free. All you got to do is just go on the video, like it, make sure you subscribe as well so we can contact you, and just comment. And that is it. That's all you got to do. And also keep an eye. I've got some great interviews coming up as well. Ex-players as well as celebrity fans and stuff as well. So keep an eye on the channel. Take care. Stay safe. Stay on Zumble. Keep the faith, my friends. And come on, you bloody irons.